Talk Radio. Blog Talk Radio.
Well, hello, and a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to yet another episode of XANDERMONIUM, the talk show that gets you talking. I'm your host, Xander Gibb, and on today's show, I have a plethora of fabulous guests. In the first part of the show, I'm going to be talking to the co-writers of a fabulous new comedy series called Luckless. No, they're not called Luckless. They're called George Cowin and Steve Haltrecht. And also my very good friend, Gracie Tyrrell, the actress who plays Rebecca in the new show. And in the second half of the show today, we will be live with TV chef Roy Handler from Chelsea lately and the CEO of Hot Mess Catering. More to come in a mere moment. So we're very high-tech here, as you know, so you can interact with us during the show in the chat room at the bottom of the page. That's it. Scroll down. Yep. That's it. You're there. And you can also call us with questions on 347-884-9061. That's 347-884-9061. Or you can interact with us on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @XanderGibb. Tweet me if you're too shy, and I will make your point for you. And you can also tweet George, Steve, and Gracie. George's Twitter is @George Cowin, GeorgeCowin. Steve's is @Steve Haltrecht, that's STEVHALTRECHT. And the lovely Gracie is @Gracie Tyrrell, GraciETYRRELL. Wow, I'm glad I cemented my teeth in for that today. So let's tell you a little bit about this show first of all. A group of unemployed pre-adolescent adults, George, Jeffrey, and Oliver, have formed an unlikely friendship in the suburbs of London. I know it very well. George is a laid-back, luckless leader. Jeffrey is a sarcastic, self-obsessed sex pest. Damn, get me his number. And Oliver is an intriguing, innocent intellectual. So when George's stunning cousin Rebecca flies over from America with her flirtatious friend Jessica, things turn from bad to worse. As they decide to take these Yankees under their wing, they decide to complete a sexual tick list, a bucket list, if you will. So George, being the only virgin of the group, finds his unlucky aura continues to haunt him. With the list leading them to every corner of London, they soon realize this is not a forgiving place. This summer will be one to remember. Well, George might disagree. So let me just bring them online. Join me in welcoming George Cowin and Steve Haltrecht, who are the co-writers of this epic comedy series, and my old pal from her NYC days, the fabulous Gracie Tyrrell. Are you there, guys?
Yeah. Hi.
Oh, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Very good. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. It's great to catch up with you after all this time. So tell me, what's the weather like in London? It's like 80 degrees here, and it's pissing it down with rain. Please tell me that you've got nice sunshine all day today and sunny.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's very cloudy at the moment looking out the window.
And grey.
Really?
Grey.
Yeah.
Typical London.
This is supposed to be...
We're getting a bit of your weather for some of that over there, over here. So tell me, first of all, George, let's start with you. Where did the original idea for Luckless come from?
The original idea, actually, we didn't write a series originally. Sounds stupid, but me and Steve, my co-writer, we were just playing with ideas for scripts for each other for cold reading. sort of when you go to an audition, you've never seen a script before, you just pick it up and learn it straight away.
Right.
And we sort of started developed characters from there. They sort of come together, and we realised we had a solid character group, all worked well together. So we just played with a few ideas. I mean, a lot of them were from, I hate to say it, but experiences.
Yeah.
Right. I get that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of writers, including myself, people say, where do you start? Where do you write? What do you write about? Well, they say the best thing to write about are the things that you've experienced, and then kind of like embellish from there. So I totally get that. So you and Steve have written together before.
No,
this is the first time. I went to school with Steve.
You've written together? Right. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. We went to school together, and we've never done any writing together. So we're both interested in acting.
Yeah.
And we had done little bits here and there. And we sort of just went from there, really. It was quite it was a bit of a weird thing to do, really, at the time, but it sort of developed, and it's gone from there.
I think I'm seeing more and more that actors and writers are actually getting off their ass and doing things and making it themselves, because it's becoming increasingly harder to get people to believe in you and give you the money to make things. So people are just going off and do it for themselves. So how did you? What kind of backing did you get for your pilot? I know lots of people do these Kickstarter things, but I don't think they're that wonderful. So how did you get the backing for your pilot?
Yeah, well, mentioning Kickstarter, actually, we put it on there originally. We didn't get the full amount, but from that we actually secured an individual investor, and then that gave us the bulk to make the pilot. Yeah, so we was pretty lucky, really. Yeah. And from there, he knew somebody that could give a bit more money, and then from there,
it just
sort of develops. We started getting a few more people involved. Yeah.
So.
And it's kind of not what you know, it's who you know, isn't it? I mean, I've had projects that have been floating around forever, and like one of my things has been on the back burner for a couple of years now, but it's just about to kind of take to fruition. But this seems to have come together pretty quickly for you guys. How long was it in the making? How long did it take you to actually make the pilot?
It was about 1.5 years, I think. Yeah.
We started writing it. Yeah, we started writing it about a year and a half ago, but since actually really developing the pilot and trying to get out there to people, probably a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, not long at all.
Wow.
Which isn't too bad.
Yeah, no, we were lucky. Yeah. Very lucky, actually.
What about the filming stage? How long did the filming take? In my research, I've been looking at lots of the pictures and lots of stuff on your Facebook page and stuff, your Luckless page, and it all looks to be quite intense, because it looks like you've got it's not just one guy with a camera; it's like a proper fucking film crew going on there. How long was it?
Pre-production probably took
10 days on that?
No. Pre-production. Pre-production, a month and a half, 2 months, and then the actual production, 10 days we took filming. But they were long hours. I'm sure Gracie would agree. They were long hours to act in anyway. But
they weren't too bad. I mean, we were provided with food. Like, the set was absolutely incredible. Everyone got on. So it didn't feel like work. It was just so fun to be there and be involved.
And that really makes a difference, doesn't it? Because just to explain to the listeners, Gracie and I worked together on a project in New York a few years ago, and it really was a pit, wasn't it? We both came away needing counseling and needing our stomachs pumped from the crappy food we were given and things like that. So to be involved in a quality production makes a difference. Don't you agree, Gracie?
Oh, completely. And I mean, there were no egos. There was nothing. It was just everyone got on, trusted each other. And I think because of that, it really shows on camera. And, I hope it does anyway.
Yeah, Gracie wasn't very good, but the other.
Steve.
I think it really does. I think it really does come across on camera, because I'll tell you, this is how I found out about the project. As I just said, I've been friends with Gracie for some time. She sent me something on Twitter, and normally before I retweet stuff or forward it, I kind of want to see what it's about, because if you're putting your name to it, even just by recommending it, by retweeting it, you want to see that it's good. So I went to have a look, and I was like, I had to watch it 5 times because I couldn't grasp of how good it is. And I'm not just saying that, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, but a note before you say, Gracie, it wasn't so I could see Sam's ass 25 times before you asked. But maybe that was something to do with it.
Yeah,
but it was even just from seeing the pilot, I want to see the series. I mean, it kind of has a very young vibe to it, but I feel like it's got something for everybody.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, actually, we premiered it at Leicester Square, Empire Cinema, which is like renowned for its big. Yeah,
right.
Big
how did you get that? Did you have to pay for it? Was it part of your budget, or did you know someone who knew someone, or?
It was part of our budget, but basically during filming, like always, we went over a bit. But we was like, if we're gonna show what we can do, we're gonna go all out. So yeah, we had to spend a bit more on that, but it paid off. I mean, we had people there all different ages, and they seemed everyone enjoyed it.
The feedback has just been incredible. So yeah, we're very excited about the future of it.
Yeah.
I can see that because you see in my kind of line of work, people send me lots of stuff all the time because they want me to recommend it or talk about it on my show or whatever. And some stuff I have to say, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, but it's total fucking crap. So when something good kind of comes in front of you, I always feel like I have to champion it because I know that when I've done projects like in the past and nobody's interested and it's been absolutely brilliant, I want to I don't want that experience for other people. I want it to be a better experience, if you know what I mean. So, George, you also play a character in the show. You also play someone of you also play George in the show. I always try to do that. I always try to write myself a character with the same name as me, mostly because I can remember who the fuck I am. But how was that for you acting it when you've actually written it too?
Well, originally I didn't actually write it for myself. We sort of
right.
I don't really know where that came from.
Yeah, we just wrote it and just wanted to get a lot better at.
Yeah, then I was reading in for the character obviously when we've been read-throughs with me and Steve, and then it seemed to just click. Steve thought it clicked, and then we got a casting director on board that agreed. So it's sort of just I didn't really want to be the kind of producer that sort of writes himself in roles all the time. But when it worked, I felt
that's a bad thing.
No, I know, but I don't want to be like all pretentious. I was like, I'll just go with it, and it clicked. So we kept it.
He is perfect in the role. It works.
I think I have to say, I see these things from lots of different sides because I've had a finger in lots of pies, production, writing, acting, producing, casting, and I'm very impressed with the whole quality. I mean, Gracie even looks like the woman who plays your mother, who I've seen in other things, but I can't kind of place her. I tried to look her up on IMDb. But also the woman that plays George's nan, she's been in a few things too. But the casting was, I mean, for me, it's a bit like, all of these things are a bit like a jigsaw puzzle, and it's all of the things that make a difference. The casting, the writing, the editing, the acting, the music, all of it, comes together to make the final product. But I have to say I'm very, very, very impressed with it. So you're playing an American girl called Rebecca. Your accent was obviously gleaned from your time spent in NYC.
Yeah, it was. I guess just from living there and stuff, I picked it up a little bit. But
no, you done good.
Yeah.
Very well.
Luckily, we had a guy.
You done really good.
Oh, thank you.
that was my Mark card. Did you find yourself slipping into the accent offset? Because like one of my specialities is accents, and so when I'm playing something where I have to play a Russian or an English person or whatever, I find that I slip into it outside of the role. Did you find that?
Do I what? Sorry, listen to it.
So did you find that you slipped into the accent offset?
Oh. Well, the funny thing was, Jessica, who is my friend in it, who's Sophie, we just clicked straight away, and we're quite silly together, and we would just walk around being like, oh my God, and just quite silly together. So I guess like we did keep it up a little bit off camera.
Right.
All the time, actually.
All the time.
This is not a little bit.
I mean, yeah. We would kind of talk in an American accent a lot, so I guess that helped. I don't know, really.
So how did you feel? Did you feel really well suited to the character? And who cast you? Were both you and were both you and Steve involved in the casting, or did you just leave it to the casting person?
It was a lady called Carol Moran, and basically the audition was with Steve and George and Sam, who plays Jeffrey, and Steve. I said Steve.
Yeah,
Sorry. Basically, so we had to read with George and Sam when we auditioned, and Carol and Steve were watching. So yeah, they were both involved.
Yeah. We just wanted to see the chemistry on screen, so we recorded every tape as well, and then me and Sophie, who played Jessica, clicked really well. So that was sort of a good connection there, because they get together. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but they sort of get together in the series.
Watch it and find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, leave it at that. Watch it and find out.
No spoilers for us over and above that what we've seen in the trailer already. I mean, I was asking Gracie if Jeffrey turns out to be gay or bisexual, but unfortunately he doesn't. So I'm a little bit disappointed.
We'll see.
We're not going to say anything.
Keep watching, Xander.
Yeah. I will. So, Steve, tell me, is the writing like 50-50, or do you and George bring different things to the table?
Well, at the moment we've got ideas we've gone up to 4 series. And 6 episodes, and we've actually got film in mind as well. So that's looking very optimistic, but I mean, take off, obviously, hoping for that. Great. But what we're doing, actually, we're going to brainstorm, so we're going to get all the actors in, because myself,
around them.
I think everyone works together so well. So I just want to get as many. I want them to feel comfortable with the script. So I want everyone to bring their ideas in, how they would say stuff, and really develop it from there.
This kind of resonates very well for me, because as a writer, I often think that, unfortunately, actors don't get enough of a say in the ongoing roles of the people that they play. Like Rebecca wouldn't say this or Rebecca wouldn't say that. And so I think that that's an amazing concept, and it's happening more and more. I know a lot of the American TV series, they kind of brainstorm with scripts, and they sit down and say, yeah, but she wouldn't say that, and she definitely would not sleep with him, that kind of thing. So it's a very good concept to have that kind of a participation in the writing process. So are you on set when all the filming's being done yourself, Steve, or do you not get involved in that side of it? Do you kind of sit in on the filming to ensure that your vision is kind of kept intact, as it were?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I want to see everyone on set doing as me and Jules had in mind, sort of thing.
Yeah, make sure it's not out of place. And Steve actually helped out on the pilot and a lot of running. So
Steve said 24/7.
Yeah, I want everything to be perfect, sort of thing. So
Steve was Superman on set.
Yeah, Steve man.
I think it really makes a difference, because I've stipulated in some of my projects that are floating around out there that if nothing else, I want to be attached as a consultant, because what happens most of the time is, as the writer, you give them your product, and then they turn it into something totally different, and then you see the finished product, and you're like, that's not what I wrote. That's not what I had in mind. That's not what I envisioned. And it's a very, I think that it's very difficult as a writer to be torn between making money from something and your artistic integrity remaining intact. Would you agree with that, George?
That's what we want to do. We want to try and keep us.
Yeah, we want to see it through to the end. And I mean, we've got a brilliant director on board, Gulliver Moore, and I was actually a friend of his. I was in one of his short films actually before, and so we're really close. I mean, he sees exactly what we see. And literally, what we wrote on paper a year ago.
Great.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, what we wrote on paper a year ago is literally
the same as what it is.
Yeah, what we see on the screen is incredible.
And to me, that's always the sign of a good director, that they don't want to come in and change everything. Making suggestions about how things can be a little bit better is one thing, but I find that a lot of directors, I don't know, maybe it's an American thing, but a lot of directors in America, they want to change it totally, so it ends up being something different. But
make it not.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have to ask, who wrote the line for Sam's character, Jeffrey, "Your mom wants my cock"? Because it was fucking genius. I spat out my coffee when I heard him say it. I mean, the casting. You could not have cast that better. The line. He says the line like perfectly. And when he said, "Your mom wants my cock," I'm thinking, yeah, so does all the gay population of the United States.
I love it.
He's just.
I know I'm terrible, but you know it's my show, so I get to be a little bit dirty. So what's the level of language intentional? Because you know, like a lot of shows, they don't even say "damn," "I'm blast," and "I'm bastard." You know, there are more limitations in the United States as to what you can say on screen than there are in the UK. But I know some writers actually have that in mind when they're making stuff. And for me, both as a writer and both as someone that watches a lot of TV, I don't want to see, you know, kind of like la-di-da stuff, because that's not how people talk. You know, people do swear and people do say things in kind of like modern terminology. Is it something you took into consideration during the writing process?
Yeah, definitely. I think we want people to relate to it as much as we can, and I think if we don't want to tiptoe around people swearing and saying all this, yeah, your mum wants my cock, them sort of things.
Keep it real as possible.
That's what's funny. That's what people laugh at. It's just
real.
It's real, yeah, exactly. And also, like you're saying with the American, how they sort of limit themselves to saying certain things. I think we're just going to push the boat out and
see what happens.
Yeah, fingers crossed it works. I mean, we wrote it for British and American viewers.
Right. So this is the thing about American viewers is they have such an amazing love affair with British television. I mean, things like Shameless and stuff were really popular here. And I can't think off the top of my head what else, but they love the British stuff. Now, BBC America does a lot of British programs and stuff. But a lot of cable channels, they will actually show it as if, like, if it says fuck, cunt, bastard, wank, they'll leave it in. But the more kind of refined companies, if you like BBC America, et cetera, they take it all out. And to me, it's lost then, you know? The message is lost when you're cutting out every other word.
Yeah, no, definitely. It just takes out stuff. Sounds silly, but sometimes you need to have it in sometimes for it to actually be funny. Sounds stupid, but... So, George, simulated masturbation, not easy, I guess, with a full film crew and your colleagues. I could have bet this would have come up. Up! No pun intended. What, you're just talking out in the open. Talk about it.
Get it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just kind of put it out there. I know that some subject matter is hard enough to hard enough to write, never mind to act, but I guess you just got on with it, as it were, did you? Yeah, I think, like, when we were writing it, I was just thinking, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but to be fair, when I was on the set, everyone, where we were so close, it was just a laugh. I mean, we did it. Literally, I looked so serious when we had to watch it back, but after every take, everyone would laugh. It was completely natural. It was, well, not natural, I wouldn't say natural. Masturbating in front of everyone, but... it's very natural, isn't it? I think it's absolutely natural. I can't think of anything even any more natural. I have a bit of a problem on set sometimes with corpsing, and I try to remain composed. But when you are playing comedy and you are doing stuff that's funny, you know, if the audience is going to find it funny, let's face it, the people on set are kind of going to do it too. And I have this terrible habit in between shots, you know, when they have to get the light right or they have to put me in a different position. I just go into character and just, you know, say stuff. So I don't know. It's hard to keep myself in check with the comedy stuff, but I guess you all had a very good time making it, Gracie.
It was so good. Amazing.
I just think, you know, this for me was the best set I've ever been on, just because it was. I know that I'm not like bigging you guys up,
and because Steve was there.
Yeah, and obviously because Steve was there. But I just think, you know, well, Elliot hasn't mentioned it.
Elliot Jane.
Yeah, so Elliot, Sophie, obviously George and Steve and me, we all got on, but not just that, the crew, absolutely incredible, and everyone just had a passion for it. There was, you know, like I said, there were no egos. It was just there wanting to do something that was good, and I think because we all trusted each other, things like, you know, the masturbation scene, it wasn't a big deal because it was just fun, and you know, George trusted us, not just like embarrass him too much. And so it was such a good. I just can't wait to start filming again.
Thank God.
I mean, there was some really kind of hairy moments. There's one clip that I alluded to earlier where Sam pulls down his underwear to reveal his... He gets his cock out, and you see his ass from behind and stuff. I mean, how difficult are things like that to film? Yeah, I think you were in that scene, weren't you, Gracie, with your co-star Jessica? Did you say her name was, or is that her character name? Right.
Yeah.
How difficult was that? You know.
It was fine. It was, you know, it was really funny. I think we just laughed a lot before we set action to get it all out, and then you know, we knew it's awkward for Sam, so we didn't want to laugh in his face. We just had to take it seriously at that point, and just, you know, luckily the characters get to laugh anyway, so we could kind of, part of that was actually real.
I'm absolutely sure it was. You know, you really with Sam, you have like a gay icon there in the making, and on behalf of the gay community everywhere, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I think that any show kind of has to have an element of attraction for everybody, you know, for guys, for girls, for gays, you know, etc. And I even noticed you have like a bit of a lesbian scene, you know, a bit of girl on girl with Gracie and Jessica. How was that? Was that difficult to do? Was it hard not to corpse while you were kissing a girl? I mean, I'm not like you were going to run off to GAY after filming or anything, but I don't know. Maybe you will. Maybe I misjudged you. How was that to film?
That was absolutely fine. I mean, she was really easy to get along with, so she was relaxed, I was relaxed, and you know, you just have to take that thing as it is and not make a big deal of it. You know, you are acting, so yeah. And the thing, you know, Gali was great because he made us comfortable. That was the director. He made us extremely comfortable. It was a closed set, so the boys didn't get to watch.
Oh damn!
What a shame.
What a shame.
Yeah, we wouldn't allow them on set. So, but no, it was absolutely fine. And it was just kissing, so no big deal.
Oh, well, you know, I'm sure that the straight guys will be homing in on that as they watch it. So George, I noticed in one section you had some prosthetics made for your face. What's the story behind that?
Right. I can't give too much away about what actually happens in the episode. Basically, seeing as I'm the luckless one, something along the line ruins my chances with Jessica, and you see in the trailer, I end up in an ambulance, but that was actually really fun to film. Yeah. Apart from I had to film 12 hours on my face. It was
wow.
Yeah, it was painful.
Yeah, it looked real. I mean, obviously prosthetic, but it really did look like 10 rounds was cool, thanks. It really did.
Yeah, no, it did look good. I wish I could say what actually happens, but I think, if you tune in, watch the trailer.
I'm hoping I'm going to be one of the first to get the box set, you know, sent to me. When this is successful, that it's worldwide, you know, I'll be able to say these guys were on my show before it was the big hit that I predicted it was going to be.
Thank you.
So, any truth in the rumor that you've recently sold another one of your writing projects, and can we get an exclusive on that, or is it all a little hush hush?
A bit hush hush at the moment, but I don't know what to say. One of my series will be out next year. So that's all I can say at the moment.
You're doing very well.
It's a drama. It's a drama.
Congratulations. A drama. That's really interesting because I find that most writers kind of like write one thing or another, like comedy or drama. But I think if you are a writer, it's like saying an actor can only play like one type of role. You know, the skill is there, isn't it? So it is possible to write the two. So you're not gonna elaborate any more than that for.
I've been told that I'm not allowed to. It's annoying, but I'm sure
that's up enough contractual obligation. If they're gonna, if you're being paid for it, then I guess they get to have a say in what's going on. So is the likelihood that really
everyone
you have to come back and tell us about that too? Now, do you think? Do you think that you? Because I'll tell you what happens for me. I get often called in to do projects with people that I've worked with so many times before because writers get to know you, casting directors get to know you, and if they know that you're good at what you do and you're adaptable and you're not, too much of a diva, they kind of call you back. Do you think you will be working with people again? Hey, I'm a total diva, but I'm funny with it.
No.
No, he's fun.
So do you think you'll be working with these people again? Do you find that you've built a bond enough with them to think that you might work with them on other projects in the future?
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%. I mean, this was my production company's first production. So,
Great.
And I can safely say, I'm not even just saying this because people will be listening, but I honestly want every single person that worked on the set back again. Every single person.
That's brilliant.
So yeah, what I wanted to do, as I'm only 20 myself, I didn't want anyone looking down at absolutely anybody. I'm like that, so I sort of...
Stop trying to make me feel old. You're 20 years old, and you just pulled off big, fabulous... you've written this great script with your writing partner, Steve, and this pilot is just like to die for, and you're 20 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now the feelers are out there. I gather that the interest is kind of starting to swell. What will encourage you to sell the project more? What will you be more interested in, kind of like the direction of where they're going to take it, or do you just want to sell it, or how do you see that going?
Well, I think what will happen is we're just going to build up our audience base, which we're starting to already. I mean, overnight our trailer had 20,000 views, and yeah, it's gone from there. So I just want to keep our audience, and then I want to stay involved in it as much as I can. Yeah. And I want to just show our little fan base so far just a lot more. There is no
truth in the rumor that 5,000 of those hits are from me looking at Sam's ass. I just have to add that. There is no truth in that rumor. And Gracie keeps offering me incentives, saying, when it gets to 25,000 hits, we're going to send you a 10x8 of Sam naked, signed. So, I look curious in that. I'm just joking.
I know.
So, if you ever need a gay stalker for Jeffrey or a gay uncle for Rebecca, you know where to come, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. Just in every episode in the background.
Yeah, absolutely. Just masturbating in the background.
Perfect.
I didn't say that, listeners. Honestly, I'm a very good. I'm a very good person, really not. Where do you, 20 years old, the sky is the limit for you. One of the things that I learned very quickly is that if you have good product and you get somebody to work with you can kind of like write a blank check. I mean, you're already talking about 4 series ahead for Luckless. You're already talking about a movie. Where do you see it kind of progressing for you? Do you think you'll stay in television, or would you like to work in movies in the future?
Yeah, definitely movies as well. I mean, I love producing as well and love writing, so I want to progress in that. But if I'll write myself in more parts, maybe I can make some films.
Absolutely. Hey, it's called nepotism, dude, and I really recommend it. I don't write anything now where there isn't at least a part for me, whether I'm playing a hobo in the park, or I said hobo, not homo, or I'm playing dad or a cab driver. I want to be in all these things because I love the whole process. And so, Gracie, you've been doing some other projects, haven't you? Didn't you just make a movie in America just recently?
Yes, I did. That was actually a while ago. That was called Death of a Tree, and that will be released in November. So look out for it.
Are you going to be a premiere in the States for that, or?
Yeah, they haven't actually set a time or date yet, but I will let you know. And make sure you come along.
Come back and tell us about it.
Yeah, that would be great.
And we will endeavor to plug that for you. But it's been great speaking to you guys. George and Steve, I just want to ask you one final question. Do you kind of think you're going to continue writing together, or will you do projects apart and then come back together? Let's start with you, Steve.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely write with George again, I'm sure, because we both click and we both got the same mind, and we both agree on things, and
it just works. There's something there that works.
Yeah.
So 100%. We might do other things on our own.
Yeah.
Depends, but we'll 100% work together again.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we hope we'll be writing Luckless for a few series. We'll see how we get on.
Well, I really look forward to the stateside premiere of this, because what we're finding more and more here is that when things become a hit very quickly in the UK, we get them quite soon now. It's not like it used to be that you have to wait for 2 years to get stuff. So I'm looking forward to that being on American television too, because I think that Americans would really appreciate it. So thank you so much for joining us today. I really wish you every success with your show, Luckless. Keep your eyes out for it, folks. Tell people where they can find you. Tell them about your Facebook page, and is there a website? Tell them what they can do to support you and help you in this endeavor.
First of all, I'd go for Facebook. That's www.facebook.com/lucklesscomedy. We've got everything on there so far. We will have a website once the full episode is out, so just stay tuned for that. And, of course, you mentioned our Twitters at the beginning. Mine's @George Cowin.
Mine is @Stephen Haltrecht.
And mine is @Gracie Tyrrell.
Yeah, we'll be updating on Facebook as much as we can, so please, everyone that's listening, please tune in, even if you just watch the trailer and share it with all your friends. That means the world.
Absolutely. And if you check out my website, www.XanderGibb, on the front page, you will see a link to today's show. On there, you will find all the information about this project. And there's also, I meant to tell you, I managed to find a link to your trailer on Vimeo, and I put the trailer on there today too. So people can see the trailer on there. So if you haven't seen the trailer yet, go see it on Facebook. You can get all of their information from my website. Make sure you support this project. Share, retweet, whatever you have to do. Just get the message out there to get this going as quickly as possible. So thank you so much for joining us today, George Cowin, Steve Haltrecht, and the fabulous, my friend, my all-mucker, Gracie Tyrrell. I look forward to speaking to you all again very, very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Well, that was my interview with the co-writers of Luckless and one of the actors. We are going to take a little break now, and then we will be back with the fabulous Roy Handler. In the meantime, I'm going to play you one of my tracks. This song is called This Is Love, and it goes a little bit like this.
Love, it has been good to me this time around. Things were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no risk. This is love, yeah.
Wow, well, that was rather an abrupt ending. Thanks to Blog Talk for the fabulous software. Maybe they shouldn't have bought it secondhand from Russia somewhere. But never mind, we will plod along. So my next guest hails from Livingston in New Jersey, the Garden State, but is an LA transplant. He is a chef and trained at the respected Culinary Institute of America. Having worked at many fancy eateries, he now runs his own catering company called Hot Mess. He is also the big brother of one of America's most famous and frankly the funniest female comedian, Chelsea Handler. You can tweet him at Chef Handler, ChefHandler, capital C, capital H. Please join me in welcoming for the very first time to XANDERMONIUM, a XANDERMONIUM virgin, if you will. Give it up for Chef Roy Handler. Welcome to the show, Roy.
Well, thank you very much, Xander. That was quite an introduction. I'm glad to be here and glad to be a part of your show.
So you're in LA right now?
I'm in Malibu right now. I'm going to my sister's friend is having a birthday party, so I'm bringing some cupcakes and I'm going to see her in Malibu on the beach.
Fabulous. And how's the weather today?
It's beautiful. It's always 70 degrees and sunny in LA. There's no rain.
Wow, same here in New York, and it's a change really for us to have the same weather on both coasts. Don't know what it's like in between, but hey, who cares?
In Los Angeles, it's always sunny and 70 degrees in Los Angeles. It could be the middle of February. It could be the middle of August.
Really?
It's always sunny. Yes.
Wow. I think I'm definitely living on the wrong coast. So let's take you back to the beginning. As I said in my preamble for this section, you're originally from New Jersey. How long have you been living in L.A.?
I've been living in L.A. 4 years. It was 4 years August 1st. I moved out here because, I spent my entire career in New Jersey. Most of my family is in New Jersey. I'm single. I'm 50 years old, and I was working in restaurants all my life. And turns out restaurant owners are basically narcissists, so they're tough to work for, and they're a little bit crazy. So you can only work there for so long, and then you kind of have to move around a little bit. That's why you have a lot of chefs that go from place to place. But
right.
I love New Jersey, and I like to stay there for a while. But my sister called and said, "Why don't you come out to L.A. and cook for me? You don't have to work so much, and you get to travel." And I was a little hesitant at first, but it took some convincing because L.A. is a little suspect with the people there. So after a little bit of convincing, I took off with my girlfriend, and we made a big change. For me, it was a big change because I spent my entire life in New Jersey, and I'm not a young whippersnapper. I was 47 when I left, so. It was a awakening.
And so do you go back there very often? Because I know you have sisters and your dad lives there too. Do you go back to visit very often?
I go back like 3 or 4 times a year. Yeah. My dad lives there, and everybody lives there except me and Chelsea. So I love it there. It's close to New York. New Jersey gets a bad rap, but it's actually a pretty great state.
I love New Jersey. We go there quite often. We live Yonkers, which is just like the other side of the river, but we go there a lot for shopping, and the gas is cheaper, and they pump your own gas, and et cetera, et cetera. The only downfall is that you have to pay like $14 to come back over the bridge, which to me is a little cheeky, really. That
is pretty bad. I know that the tolls have gone up tremendously, but. You get attitude. You get a lot of attitude in New Jersey, and I kind of miss that a little bit.
Right. So, do you live with Chelsea, or do you have your own place now?
I used to when I first came out here. I lived with Chelsea for the first 2.5 years, and then I moved out. We had a little bit of a disagreement, and it was better that I moved out and I started stuff on my own. So. I used to live with her, and did all the parties and stuff like that. But now I have a loft in Marina Del Rey, which is about 20 minutes from where she lives.
Cool. Yeah, I mean I love Chelsea, but I doubt I could live with her.
Well, it's funny you say that because living with anybody is a challenge. That's for sure. Yeah. So it's not just Chelsea. It's like once you move in with somebody, or once whether you're lovers, or whether you're just roommates, or whether you're sister or brother, it's you kind of have to sacrifice 50% of who you are just to get along. If you don't have that, then things don't work out.
Yeah, I didn't mean that like disrespectfully to Chelsea. I see exactly what you're saying. I kind of really, I like to lock my door, and you can't do that when you live with anybody, can you? Really, you have to leave the door open, as it were.
Right.
So she thrust the spotlight on her popular talk show, Chelsea, lately. You seem pretty shy. Was that hard for you to just go on and be on this big popular talk show?
Yeah, I mean, I came out here to be a chef. I like to cook. I've been doing it for 20 years. I graduated at the Culinary Institute of America. I love to cook. And I don't mind the spotlight because I used to do, like, cooking shows in New Jersey, but I was never on TV. And then when I came out here, she's like, okay, cooking segment, you're on. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm on? I don't want to go on TV. He's like, yeah, the cameras are on. You got to read from the prompter. You got to do this. You got to do that. And I was super, super nervous. And, but the good thing about Chelsea is she knows that you're nervous. And as soon as you get on, she starts insulting you. And then when she starts insulting you, you kind of lose your nervousness, and you go like, okay, game on. If she just wants to play that game, then we can play that game. So you forget about being on camera, and you're just like, okay, if you want to trade insults, I'll play that.
Well, I don't know Chelsea personally, but we have a lot of mutual friends from the comedy and entertainment world and stuff, and I've only had a couple of interactions with her, and each time she was pretty bitchy, like on MySpace, but I was just glad that she even bothered to respond, So, she's cool in my book.
No, she's a great sister. She's very generous. She's bitchy. Yeah, of course she's bitchy. I mean, I don't know any woman that's not a little bitchy. I mean, that's just part of the shtick. You have to put up with that, and that's okay because it makes things interesting.
Right. Yes, I was talking to someone the other day who was saying that it's very hard for tough go-get women not to be seen in that way because they take no shit. They have to push for what they've got, and so people will always kind of see that as bitchiness. But I assure you, I'm a fan. I don't have anything bad to say about her, apart from the fact she's not invited me on the show yet. But that's time.
Well, maybe you have to try to be a little bit more creative. What have you done to try to get on the show?
I just asked her on Facebook and MySpace even, and I said, I got a lot of good stuff going on. And she was like, yeah, it looks like it, but I'm just about to sign up new management, so maybe I'll get them to get in touch.
You can try to write her a letter, make it half professional and half outlandish, and maybe she'll catch that.
Maybe I should just make a YouTube video and do it naked, because that would catch her eye.
Yeah, make an outrageous YouTube video. That usually works.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your catering company. What kind of clientele you work for, and what kind of functions do you cater? Is it all quite highbrow, or is it like a mixture?
Well, I graduated from the Culinary Institute in 1990. I trained in hotels and country clubs, but I spent most of my time in an Northern Italian restaurant in New Jersey, Morristown, New Jersey, and I trained there. And the catering company was established in, it's 2013. So in 2009 we established it. It's called Hot Mess, spelled HAUTEMESS, Hot Mess Catering. And basically, it is a small party event, nouvelle cuisine, which means we do a little bit of everything. But we do parties for less than 100 people, because once it gets over 100, it gets a little sloppy, and there's a lot of people involved, and I like to keep it small, so I like to keep the food not so watered down. I like it. If I'm going to serve something, I want people to remember it, for a while. So we do really, really quality food. I do catering for the studio at Chelsea lately. I do personal chefing. I do that for Chelsea, and I do that for some other people too. And, it's just my passion. It's one thing I'm good at. I'm not good at dancing, so I never became a dancer, but I'm good at cooking, so,
I hear that. I can't.
Yeah, I spend my time cooking because I'm good at it, If I could play baseball for a living, I do play baseball, but I'm a little old to play baseball, so.
I get that. So, is your clientele mainly celebrities or?
Yeah. It's mainly there's a lot of well-to-do people here in Los Angeles, and they like good food and they'll pay for it. So it's mainly celebrities. It's not all celebrities, but it's mainly the whole Los Angeles area's the whole the business part of it is it's all based on actors or something to do with the television, because it's so big here. So everybody is either working in the field or an actor or a producer or someone working in film or something like that. All the clientele are basically in Hollywood type of thing.
Right. So, and you're also often invited to be a guest chef at various salubrious restaurants. Do you enjoy that?
Yes, I do. I think it's great. It's good for my publicity, and it's good to get your name out there. And it's really weird, Xander, because in Los Angeles, you think you could come out here, and I had a head start with Chelsea because I was her brother, and she put me on the show, and it was a lot of fun. But you really have to go through all the correct channels, and you really have to put your time in because, people have started businesses here years ago, and they're entrenched in the catering aspects of all the shows and stuff like that. So it's almost like a country club. You can't just walk in the door. You have to kind of earn your way in before they accept you. So it's tough. It's really tough, but it's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be a little tough.
Yeah, and I think as well, it's not just about like who you know or who you're related to. I think you actually have to be good at what you do, because you're not going to get booked back if you're not good, are you? I mean, your reputation has to kind of precede how good your food is.
Because you do good food, and sometimes they don't call you back, but they're never going to say, hey. Yeah, I mean, I've done parties where the food's been outstanding, and I don't get a call back. And then I've done, I've done parties that the food was outstanding, and you get a call back the next day. So it's I don't know, it's basically hit or miss. But you put your best foot forward, you do the best you can, and you let the chips fall where they may, and hopefully they fall in my bank account.
So the stuff you cook seems kind of quite fancy, and I'm a foodie. I enjoy that kind of stuff. But sometimes I really can't be bothered. When I'm cooking for myself, I just want to make something plain and simple. Do you ever feel that way? Like, do you ever get asked to do just like, if you're doing a party, do you ever get asked to just do something really simple?
No, they want like funky stuff. They don't want simple. Like one time they wanted hot dogs, but they wanted like arugula and onions and Russian dressing and like pickled beets on it, and it's just like, I thought you wanted a hot dog. Now they're like, we want this and this and this and that. They're very picky. I myself, after coming home and cooking all day, want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'm not picky at all. I can eat whatever you throw at me, but it's nice because the big thing about working in a restaurant and working in a catering place is the catering is kind of it's not repetitive, but you can only do so much because you're delivering the food or there's not a real place to heat it up. But cooking in a restaurant, all the ingredients come in and they're, you can do whatever you want, and it's a free for all. So actually, I'm looking into getting a restaurant here in LA.
Wow, that would be fabulous. That really would be. That really would be good.
Chewy just opened his restaurant on Saturday, Chewy's Taqueria.
Really? Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I love Chewy. I remember when he kind of first started on the show, like just as kind of he wasn't like permanent on the show, but I think he was a really big hit. Everybody seems to love Chewy.
No, he's really a really nice guy. I mean, he doesn't drink, which makes him a little bit of a Debbie Downer, but he's fine, and he's very engaging, and he's actually a really good person. He can't read his lines.
Yeah, he's
good.
He seems that way. So tell me, what's your favorite meal to prepare?
Well, I like veal ossobuco, and I like pasta. Like, if I was going to make a meat dish, it would be veal ossobuco, which is a shank from the calf. It's a stewed piece of meat with, like, a bone in the center, and you basically have to sear it off and brown it. It's like a beef stew, but it's only one piece. And you brown it, and then you saute a bunch of vegetables, and then you deglaze the pan with red wine. You season it with salt and pepper. You add some stock to it, and then you put the seared piece of ossobuco into the liquid. You bring everything up to a boil. You put your herbs in it, maybe a little bit of anchovies and some lemon. And once it comes up to a boil, you put a top on it, and you just let it simmer for like 2.5 hours until the meat gets so tender it just literally falls off the bone. And the flavor and the sauce reduces, and it's a winter dish, and you serve it over pasta or rice or whatever you want to serve it over. But it's so hearty, and it's just amazing.
Well, you succeeded in getting us all really hungry now, Roy. People in the chat room, Joe in the chat room, is asking for a bit more information about Chewy's taco place. Can you tell us a little bit more about where it is?
I'm pretty sure it's in Sherman Oaks. If you look it up on the web, it's called Chewy's Taqueria. I don't know how to spell taqueria, but it's just look under Chewy Bravo restaurant if you Google it. He just opened it up.
And Chewy is Chuy, isn't it?
Chuy, yeah. And the grand opening was yesterday. He had a big grand opening, and he's made salsa and stuff like that. I didn't know he was a really good cook, but he knows the basic fundamentals of Mexican cooking, which means the salsa and the carne asada and stuff like that. So he's got a handle on all that stuff.
Cool. I think that there's this myth that people say, some people say that they just can't cook, but I don't believe that's true. I believe everybody can cook, but I think it's about learning the methodology of how to do it and how to do it well. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that's part of it. I would agree with that. I think the big thing with cooking is you have to be into it. It's just like anything. I went to Hebrew school and I was bored out of my mind. But if whatever you put into it, you can get out of it. So I would have to say that you have to, cooking is an art. It's like, you have to be able to have a little bit of patience and do it right, because if you do it wrong, it's not great. And people, there's a thing called instant gratification, which I think was increased by the computer and the iPhones and the short attention span. People can't watch long movies anymore or TV shows because they get bored really quickly. It's the same with cooking. You have to be able to say, okay, I'm cooking dinner tonight. It's going to take me an hour or whatever, and I'm going to do it. And, it's like a skill. It's like studying for a history exam or something like that. You have to be into it. Right.
I agree. I'm very experimental when I'm cooking, and a lot of it is dependent on what I've actually got in the house. And I fancied pasta the other day, but I didn't have any in, but I had some udon noodles, and obviously pasta and noodles are very similar. And I used that and made it into a bolognese type dish, and it was beautiful. And I never trust a thin chef. I'm quite a portly person myself, but I think that I always like to be a rounded chef, as it were.
What did you make? What did you call it?
Like a bolognese, like an Italian. It was like a meat sauce.
Yeah.
Instead of using pasta, because I didn't have any, I used udon noodles instead. But they're both very similar things, and these were organic udon noodles. But it was gorgeous. You know, it went down really well.
Xander, those are the things that you need to take pictures of and tweet them or Instagram them so people can see, and they see that stuff, and then they get infected. They're like, okay, I want to make something like that. And you don't, like you were creative. You used what you had. Like a bolognese doesn't have to be noodles. It could be whatever you want to make with. You could use it with vegetable. You can make a vegetable bolognese.
I mean, I'm really not. I'm not a chef. I'm not trained in any way, shape, or form. But I do enjoy the process, and I'd love to do cooking segments and stuff like that. If I'm ever lucky enough to have my own show, which is on the cards in the future, I would definitely want to have a cookery section, like a cooking section, and have someone different on to come and create stuff. Like they have this show in the UK called Ready Steady Cook, and they give them like 8 pounds, which is about $12, and they have to make a meal for 4 with that $12. And the stuff that they come up with is just amazing. And I love food R&D shows, not just because I like eating, but I find it like really fascinating how people's minds work, what they put together, how creative they can be, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, everybody's got to eat. Everybody's got to eat. So when you think about it, it's a good profession to be in, because everybody's a little bit lazy and they don't cook, so there'll always be work, but and there'll always be food. So.
Absolutely. So, do you use organic produce, and does GMOs factor into your cooking process at all?
I try to use it. Like today, I'm cooking for the studio tomorrow, and I went to the farmer's market this morning, and it's not necessarily organic, but if you go to farmer's markets here, all the fruit and the vegetables taste like they should taste. Whether if you go to the market, an apple tastes like a tomato, and a tomato tastes like an apple. It doesn't.
Yeah.
They look great, but they don't taste that great. So when I can, for tomorrow, I went and I got like fresh tomatoes, heirloom tomatoes. I got some peaches and some zucchini and some eggplant and stuff that was, just directly off the farm. And I get figs and stuff like that. It's the difference is amazing. But
I think you can. I really think you can taste the difference. There really is a different taste to kind of factory grown stuff and proper farmer grown stuff. I mean, I've heard a lot of chefs say it's far too expensive to cook commercially with organic, but I know by the same token, some will only use organic or freshly grown local produce.
I know it's very expensive, man. I mean, the cost of food here in Los Angeles is super, super expensive. An avocado is $4. So I mean,
for an avocado. Wow.
It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. I mean, a good avocado, you can get a cheap avocado for $1, but it's like it's like the size of your pinky, and it's not great. So you have to buy the good stuff. But you have to. I go to other markets, like big markets, and buy food, and it's pretty good food. It's not great, but it's I make it taste pretty good. But it's all in New Jersey. We had a better quality produce than we do out here, though.
Well, I found out recently something I thought that was really interesting. I try and shop mostly at Trader Joe's, and I recently found that although all of their products are not all organic, they're all guaranteed non-GMO, which to me makes a hell of a difference too. these Frankenstein foods are kind of really scary.
Yeah, well, Trader Joe's is good too, but they also have they've also used a lot of, for their produce, they use a lot of slave labor type of things like that, and they always get in trouble. They've had a lot of recalls and stuff like that. I know a lot of people that go to Trader Joe's, and they're a good market. I mean, I like some of their produce there too. They always seem to have a little bit of trouble with everything, but who knows?
Yeah, I think it's a bit hit and miss whether you can get everything that you need from Trader Joe's. But we go to several places. There's like a farmers market. There's like a farmers market just nearby. It looks like we have a caller, Roy. You up for taking some questions?
Yeah, everything's on the table. Who's the caller? Let's see what's going on.
Okay. Hi, caller. You're live on XANDERMONIUM. What's your name and where you calling from?
Am I on?
You're on.
Hi, Xander. How are you? It's Brenda.
Hi, Brenda. How are you? I'm fabulous, thank you. You're live on XANDERMONIUM with Chef Roy Handler. Do you have a question or a comment or something to share with us?
Yes. Since you have a chef on, I thought I'd ask a question because I when I cook a roast, doesn't matter what kind of roast it is, if it's the best roast there is or prime or whatever, it's always tough. Every time it does, my roast never turns out.
Okay. Hi, Brenda. What kind of roast? What kind of meat are you buying? What cut?
I try different kinds just to see if it'll make a difference. Like, and it just never seems. No matter what cut I buy, it just never. It just.
Okay. Is it beef or pork or what?
Beef.
Okay. So if you're going to make a roast, there's different types. Like the bottom rounds is for pot roast, so it has almost no fat in it. So it has to be like cooked and boiled forever, and then you let it cool and you slice it, and it almost falls apart in your mouth. If you get a top round roast,
right,
those are good for roast beef. Like you can get ask your butcher or wherever you go to the market and just say, I need a 4-pound top round. And what you do is you just season it with salt and pepper and olive oil, and that's the only thing you have to do. But you have to have a preheated oven, and it has to be at 450 or 475, and you just throw that thing in a baking pan, and you let it roast for an hour. And then you take it out, and you can always tell it should be 110 if you have a thermometer, 120, and take it out and let it rest before you cut. That's roast beef, and that comes out really, really good. But all the other stuff that you do, you have to use it. Make sure the oven is really, really hot, 450. You can roast it at 350, but then it tends to take a while to cook, and then it dries out a little bit.
So what about they say room temperature? Do you have to leave it out for a while before you cook it? Some people say room temp beef. You
should leave it out. That way it doesn't, because if you put a big cold piece of meat in the oven, it takes a while to heat through. And you should leave it out for an hour before you serve it, but it's not necessary, no.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
But also the key is if you're gonna get a roast, you should always sear it first.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice to finally hear your voice all the way from up in sunny Canada. You have a fabulous day, and thanks for calling.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Brenda. Lots of love. So let me give out the number again. It's 347-884-9061. That's 347-884-9061 if you have a question for Chef Handler or a question for me, or you want to make a comment, or you want to share something, give us a call. So tell us, Roy, who is your favorite TV chef?
I used to like Emeril Lagasse until he got big and fat and kind of weird, so I don't like him anymore. But I like Ina Garten, I think her name is, on the Food Network.
Not her. Oh, is she an Asian lady?
No, she's a Barefoot Contessa.
Not seen her.
Italian. She's Italian. She's a little chunky, and she's very calm. She doesn't She doesn't get flustered at all. And all her recipes are like super, super amazing. It's called the Barefoot Contessa. I'm surprised, Xander. I thought you were a big foodie.
I am, but I also get very little time for television nowadays. But I'm glad you didn't say one of the like predictable ones like Rachel Ray or Paula Deen or any of those.
I like Gordon. I like Gordon Ramsay because he's such a jerk off, and he.
Yeah, I like Gordon Ramsay. I like that he doesn't hold back. He's very he's very in your face, isn't he, too?
Yeah, you need that. I mean, most chefs are like that. I'm a pretty calm chef. I don't yell and scream unless somebody's chucking saute pans at me. But I like the fact that he can tell people to go screw, and he tells people they're idiots, and that's kind of refreshing.
Yeah, I think that that's what makes that show. It makes it ultimately different from other shows about food and restaurants. That he's got the balls to stand up to people and really tell them what he thinks.
So Xander, what show is? What is your show about? I mean, what is? I mean, I haven't done much research on you, but what is?
You didn't research my show. No, I'm just joking. Well, basically, we have a different subject matter every week. Some weeks we have an interview. Some weeks we have a topic. We have a panel discussion. People call in with questions and comments. I hate these shows where it's the same thing all the time, so I love some variety. Sometimes we have guests on that are well-known, sometimes people that are not so well-known. And I like to have my friends on, too. I like to have people on that I can shed a little spotlight on and get people to be a little bit more interested in them. But my kind of ethos, if you like, is just for it to be entertaining. And it's it's hard because I do it all myself. I research it. I write the script. I do all the publicity. I do everything for the show. I'd love to have a team to do it and then just come on and do the presenting. But alas, it's not to be right now. But who knows in the future? I'm here, Sirius, when you're ready to get off your ass and offer me something.
Well, that's good to know.
But more substantial. All right. So tell us about. Go on. I hope it's not getting.
I'm
by
sorry
the cops
about that. Yeah.
It's fine. You wasn't the cop stopping you or anything, was it?
Excuse me?
It wasn't the cop stopping you or anything?
No, not at all.
Cool. So I wanted to ask you about exotic ingredients. Have you ever cooked with shark or bull balls or anything like that?
Exotic ingredients?
Yeah.
What would you like to know about exotic ingredients?
What exotic ingredients have you used in your cooking?
Well, I'm a pretty straightforward guy. I'm from New Jersey, so I don't use a lot of different exotic ingredients. I kind of keep it simple, and I keep it hearty. And my mother was German, and my father was Jewish, and I don't if I wanted to do something really funky, I would, I'd use just fresh figs and stuff like that, or something that I haven't used before. I mean, we use edible flowers. We use prickly pears. We use with different types of fruits that you haven't seen before, or that's not available in the markets. But it's pretty simple, straightforward. I'm not out to wow people with presentations. I'm out to wow people with taste. Because presentation is beautiful.
I think that when people go crazy with wild ingredients, sometimes it kind of takes away from the whole the process, the whole kind of
right. I mean, it looks great. It looks great, and you should be experimenting with food. But if it looks great and it tastes like shit, then it's a failure.
Yeah, absolutely. So I read on your website, Roy, that your mom was a fabulous cook. What kind of things did she used to make for you? And did
she used to make chicken Milanese, but she makes like breaded chicken without the Parmesan, without the sauce and the cheese. Like she would have like a simple breading, like she would pound the chicken, and then she would have like a simple breading and just like pan sear the chicken and put it all on a big plate because there were 6 kids, so she did a bunch of them. And it used to sit on the stove for a couple hours, and they'd be just so moist and so good and so delicious. And nowadays you make a chicken Milanese, you fry it, and it just doesn't taste the same as your mom made. I don't know what she did, or she used thick breast or thin breast, but they're so good. And she used to make these things called, they looked like giant matzo balls. And they were flour and egg, but they used to explode in the pan. So instead of just like a regular matzo ball, I don't know if you know what a matzo ball looks like, but it would explode in the pan, and they'd be the size. They'd be like 5 times the size, and they'd taste like fluffy pancakes, but they were round and they were white. And I never got that.
Gorgeous.
But yeah, it was so good. And she'd serve it with applesauce, and I wouldn't even know what to call it. It was just, maybe I could find out from my aunt, but it's so good.
So, you're of mixed parentage, religiously speaking. Do you consider yourself a Jew or a Mormon or neither?
I am a Jew.
Right.
We were raised Jew, and we went to church once in a while, but they looked a little. It was a little suspect over there. We didn't know what was going on there, and they passed out little cubes of bread, and we were like, okay. Everybody is very friendly, but we all got bar mitzvah, and we all had we all loved growing up as a Jew.
Right. And it's funny, up until doing research for this interview, I always thought it was the other way around. I always thought it was your mother that was Jewish and your father that was a Mormon, but it's the other way around, isn't it? Your mom was a Mormon, but your dad is Jewish.
Yeah, my mom was a Mormon, and she gave it up for all the kids, and then once we were all through with our schooling, she went back to the church. So I actually have a sister who's a Mormon too. She went back to the church.
Right. Yeah, I have a sister who's a Mormon too. We're from a Jewish family. My mother was Jewish, and then halfway through her life, she changed her direction totally and became a Jehovah's Witness. So we never know where the frick we
became
are.
A what?
Really. A Jehovah's Witness.
Oh boy.
So we refer to her as the Jehovah's Witness because there is this kind of there's a thinking in Jewish terms that if you're born a Jew or if your mother's a Jew, if you're Jewish, you're Jewish. Whether you say I'm an Episcopalian or a Catholic or whatever, a Jew is a Jew is a Jew. Just in my book.
Jehovah's Witnesses are a little questionable themselves.
Oh yeah, absolutely, just a little.
The name of,
so are you a bad Jew?
Witness.
Do you eat bacon? What?
Just the name Jehovah's Witness sounds like something's up,
I thought you were asking me to name a Jehovah's Witness then.
No, I don't have any friends that are Jehovah's Witnesses.
No, I have some in my family, but I don't really. My lifestyle is not really something that they
are you
kind
a
of
Jehovah's
smile
Witness?
about. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But that's a different show. So, are you a bad Jew like me? Do you eat bacon?
You're not supposed to, but I do. Yeah. Who doesn't like bacon?
Oh, I love bacon. I love all types of bacon too. Canadian, turkey, you name it. I like it. Smoked bacon. But I don't.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that you're not supposed to do as a Jew. You're not supposed to get a tattoo.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do that. But times have changed, and as long as you keep it sort of straightforward, you'll be fine.
Absolutely. So your family, Chelsea was on a show recently called Who Do You Think You Are, which traced back some of your ancestry. Were you surprised about some of the information uncovered during that show?
No, I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, I'm sure if you look back in the history of any family, there's going to be some revelations, stuff like that.
I'm sure,
but,
yeah.
You know, it's all about history, and, you know, I mean, if you go back 100 years from today, people are going to look back and see what went on, and that's what history's all about. So it wasn't shocking. I mean, it was interesting. It wasn't shocking.
Absolutely. And do you think because the press kind of really blew up the Nazi connection thing that came out, and I kind of felt that they it was out of proportion, really. What did you think about that?
About the press for the Who Do You Think You Are? Or the
No, I mean not for the show, but the media response to the revelation of there being was it your grandfather or your great grandfather that was
right?
yeah.
Well, I don't know. Press, they're going to blow it. They just want to make a story. I don't think I was that big. It was just I don't put much stock into that. They're just trying to get headlines and they need a story.
Absolutely, and I think that there's always this kind of clash with anything to do with that and the Jewish angle. But I've heard of Jewish families tracing their family history and finding out that their families are collaborated with the Germans. But when you're in a position where it's you want to keep your family alive and you want to protect your family, I wonder what people would do in that situation to keep their family alive. I'm glad that we don't have to face that kind of dilemma nowadays.
Yeah, I know. It's it's interesting to learn about it, and it's all about history's a great thing. It's something you look back on and something you learn from.
Absolutely. So, What I was going to ask you about, I want to ask you a little bit about your childhood. I know, it's common knowledge that your mom passed when you were all quite young. As one of the older siblings, did you find that you took over some of the parenting roles? How old were you when your mom?
No. My mom died in 2006. Okay, that was only 7 years ago. So I was.
Oh, I totally misunderstood that one.
I was 47 or 47 years ago. I was 43. So we were all older. She was 67. She had been sick for about a year. She had breast cancer in 1990, but she recovered. But then she got sick again like 15 years later. So we were all grown up when it happened. My brother died in 1984, and he fell off a cliff in the Grand Teton, Wyoming. And I was 21, and he was 22. So that was kind of, and he was just graduated engineering school, and he was, he just got a job. He was making over $100,000 a year back then, which was a lot of money. And it was, it kind of devastated my mother and my father, and I was pretty much a stoner back then. I didn't go to college. I was kind of, it was devastating to me. I didn't fully comprehend it, but even though I was the oldest one in the family, and all my, brothers and sisters were younger, Chelsea was only 10, and, it was an awakening, and you kind of, I remember 2 months later, I was walking around town, and I was like, my brother's dead. And I was looking at these older people who were just, I was wondering, why couldn't it be them? I mean, this guy's 80 years old. I mean, he's almost done. Why can't he die? Why does my brother have to die? Or I would drive by in New York, and I would see bums on the street, and I was like, nobody would miss this guy. Why doesn't he die? And why did my brother have to die? So it's kind of weird, and kind of makes you think a lot, and makes you wonder that it's not about, I don't know if it's about decisions or whatever. It's just, it's destiny. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. You have to kind of roll with it.
Right. And do you feel that these things made you all closer as family? Because, I don't know if it's the case, but you do all seem very close as siblings.
No, we're close. I think we were close to begin with. When that happened, it actually brought us a little closer. We took everything kind of brought us closer together. Yeah, of course it did.
Right.
But we were never arguing. We were never at each other's throats. We were never had a lot of animosity towards each other. We were always a close-knit family.
So, would you say that your family are all funny, or is Chelsea the only one? Because I often find that comedians...
Chelsea's really funny, but she's the only one who has the guts to get on TV and do it. I'm pretty funny,
right.
But it takes a little bit for me to get going. Like, I could be funny. I'm very sarcastically funny, and I can entertain the troops, but I need a lot of people around me to do it. I pick my spots very easily. My brother Glenn is funny too, but he picks his spots. And Simone and Shoshana are not that funny, but so it's just basically me, Glenn, and Chelsea.
So did she make you laugh growing up?
What?
Did she used to make you laugh growing up?
Yeah, she's the same as she was. You see her on the show, that's how she was when she was 3 years old.
Right. And I've heard that she's pretty much the same. She's the same, like, on and off screen, like funny wise. She's just as funny. In fact, it's funny. We had Jiffy Wild on the show last year, and he was telling us, everybody that works for her or with her just has so many good things to say about her that she'll just call everybody up and take them on holiday and things like this. And I'm like astounded, that she's such a generous individual.
Well, you know how she is. She's you said it right on the button. She's very generous. She likes to have a good time, and she's Chelsea.
Absolutely. So how have your family reacted to her fame? Because obviously, everybody knows that you're related to her and stuff. How does your...
No, they all like it. I mean, what's not to like? But it's all with a grain of salt. I mean, it's if your sister becomes a mega star and very famous, how many times are you going to jump up and down? I mean, it's great. It's better than her being not famous. But I don't think it changes. It changes a little bit of how you think and how you go about your business. But I don't think it changes who you are. It doesn't. You still got to live your life. You still got to play by the rules. You still have to do everything that you would have done before. And just try to do it with a little bit more flair, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah. Because I guess there's always somebody around to snap a photo and to report back on what you said and what you did and all that kind of thing. So I guess you've met a lot of famous people in the past few years. Who was the nicest famous person that you met?
The nicest famous... Oh, boy. Let's see. Bradley Cooper I met once at dinner with Jennifer Aniston, and she was super, super nice, but I only met him once. Jennifer Aniston's super, super nice. Nobody's been a jerk. I met Leah Remini one time, and she was kind of standoffish. But,
isn't she a Scientologist? There was a lot on Twitter recently about her and to do with Scientology.
Yeah, she's in her old work. She's like that. She played that role, King of Queens, and I think she's playing it in real life, too. So.
Right. So you have a dog, right? What's your dog called?
No, I had a dog, but Chelsea didn't like it, so I had to ship it back to New Jersey. I'm just babysitting.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry, I doesn't know that. I thought, because I saw pictures of you with your dog.
I do love dogs. I do love dogs, and I had a dog, but I shipped it back to New Jersey and gave it to my sister. But I do babysit my friend's dog because I do love dogs.
So I was surprised that, Chunk has a Twitter page, and he has 180,000 followers, like 10 times more followers than me. I have to wonder what I'm doing wrong. If a dog has more.
He has more followers than me, too, so you're not alone.
Yeah, it's crazy. So what do you make of social media, and do you get a lot of requests for connections with Chelsea?
I think it's good. It's just that, it's out there, so anything you do is going to be, I think it should be used a little bit more constructively than it's been used. Like, people are just, they're having coffee or whatever, and, if you're going to say something or you're going to do something, it should have a little backbone to it, or it should have a little meaning to it. Even if you tweet or something, you should say something that's, or interesting, not just like I just saw Khloe Kardashian at the mall, and it doesn't mean anything, I mean, it should have some kind of substance to it. But I think it's good.
I actually use it a lot more now because I write too, and I write articles about things that I care about, like all this that's going on in Russia right now, and I use it to kind of like prop all that up and open people's eyes, because I have like 18,000 followers, which to me I'm astounded, that I have that many. But
well, that's good. That's good. Congratulations.
Thank you. It gives me a platform, just like this radio show does, to talk about things that I kind of care about. I mean, it's a very mixed hodgepodge of subject matter, and I obviously can't have it too serious, but I have to use my platform, however high or not so high that is, to highlight things that are going on in the world that kind of cause me concern.
Yeah. Listen, Xander, I have to go to this lesbian barbecue, or else I'm going to get...
You're going to a lesbian barbecue?
Yes.
Well, listen, Roy, just before you go, tell people where they can find you. Tell them where your website is.
Okay, the website is called hotmesscatering.com. So it's HAUTEMESS, and then catering.com. That's our culinary website. I also have my own website. It's called royhandler.com, which you could find recipes, videos, and stuff that I'm currently doing. And I'm also writing a book which should be out in the beginning of next year. It's called Tanqueray, Tales of a Chef.
Brilliant. You have to come on again and tell us about your book when it's going to be released, and we'll plug it for you. And I'll put your links on the perma page for today's show, so people can find you after the show. But thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Enjoy your lesbian barbecue, and take my advice, Roy. Avoid the fish. Ha ha.
Thanks for having me on, Xander. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks a lot. Take care, Roy.
Bye.
Bye. That was Chef Roy Handler from Hot Mess Catering, and also from the Chelsea Handler Show. Check him out on Facebook and Twitter, and also check out Hot Mess Catering. We'll put the links on today's perma page, so you can check him out. Thanks so much for joining us today, Chef Handler. Now, my final guest of the day is a new stranger to XANDERMONIUM. My guest is Ty Egar from the band Farewell to Alchemy, and he's going to come on right now and tell us a little bit about how their album launch went last week. So, welcome back to the show, Ty. How you doing?
I'm good. Hello.
Hi. Bit of a roller coaster.
By the way, I'm not officially a resident.
Resident of what?
A resident of the XANDERMONIUM show.
No, I wasn't saying that, but I still have to give you a big build-up, dude. You know, I can't just say,
Absolutely.
"Oh,
I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. It just makes me smile. I'm on every other week.
I know, absolutely, a regular contributor. So, tell us, you had your album launch about a week ago in Glasgow. Tell us a bit about that. Tell us about how it went. I know you had the company Roland involved and stuff. So give us a bit of an update on what's been going on.
It went really well. It went very well, actually. Because it was considering, I mean, the amount of, we were rehearsing 10 hours a day for 9 days, which for any young, I know, for any young singers listening, I don't recommend you do that to your voice.
No.
It's not, not a great thing to do. So 9 days at 10 hours a day, rehearsing in a little booth with fabulous drummer Ryan, who had very little time to rehearse with us, but it was Roland. Yeah, it was Roland instruments that we were using, and we're going to be on their website at some point with the video. It was all filmed. Obviously, this is the point of the Roland involvement. In fact, on Wednesday, I'm going to see the first edits of the video, so I'm quite excited about that.
Brilliant.
And the lovely and the lovely guy Simon, who filmed it all, is very excited about it. He's really pleased with the way it went. And so it was great because it's the first time I've been on. I mean, the album took 2 years to write.
Wow.
And it's the first time that I've been on stage in 3 years. So it was but it wasn't as nerve-wracking as I thought it was going to be. I was actually really calm when I got on stage.
I think there's always that element of I think it's an adrenaline thing, and I find that too when I haven't performed for a while. I mean, after like 30 seconds, I'm like, what's your problem? Just get on with it, kind of attitude, because it's like nature, isn't it? Once you get up there. So was there a lot of people there? How big was the venue, and was it packed?
Well, the venue, it wasn't packed, but the venue, I'm not really sure how many people were there, to be honest, because I just walked onto it kind of a sea of faces, but there were a lot of people there. There were a lot of friends there. There was a lot of really great support, and it was just a really nice atmosphere. But I didn't until there was a friend taking a lot of photos, and it wasn't until he posted them that I realised how amazing the set was. We had the lighting alone was £30,000 worth of lighting, and I didn't get to see it because it was behind me. It was all behind me, so it wasn't until I saw the photos that I thought, wow, we look amazing, which was quite amusing.
And didn't you have a smoke machine too? How did you sing with a smoke machine going on?
Well, the smoke machine was behind me because the band were raised higher than me. My friend who's on Blog Talk at the minute, Martin O'Connor, he's listening in now. He's playing guitar for us as well, so they really got the smoke. I was in front of the band, and I was on a lower level than them, so I didn't really get the smoke. It didn't bother me, and I was moving around too much anyway. So it was because I kept saying to people, I don't dance. Do you know what I mean? Because as you know, I'm a choreographer, not a dancer. So if you can't teach, so there wasn't a lot of dancing going on at on the night, apart from the one track, because on the album One Track Mind, which Neil has produced. It's fantastic production actually, but it's a real kind of club mix track. But it's really difficult. I didn't realise until we were rehearsing it's really difficult to sing live because I don't get a lot of chance to breathe. So that was really interesting. But the cameraman Simon was actually on stage like a foot away from me, constantly all the way through the song, just moving around me. So I'm really interested to see that. That should be really interesting.
I hate that because it's like so they can see up your nose and stuff like that, don't you? I always like to be filmed from above because then you can't see my bulk so much. But I hate that. I hate that closeness. So what has the industry reaction been to? Because your album's out on iTunes now, isn't it? And
Well, to be honest,
so what has the industry response been?
Well, I've no idea at the minute. We've just got the Facebook page has gone a bit crazy. But I'm not now. I'm waiting for the video. Once the video is on YouTube, because that's going to be there's part of it's going to be pay-per-view, but obviously we'll put it on our on our YouTube site as well for people to just watch. But once I've got the video, that's when I start doing my PR properly. And obviously with Roland, once it's on the Roland site, what I'm then looking for, because as you know, we have our own label, we're not looking to be signed by anybody. So what I'm looking for then is promoters.
And like a distribution deal, or are you doing the distribution yourself?
No, the distribution, because what I've realised is there's only same as yourself. There's only so much I can do. So I need promoters and management, preferably. Certainly on the touring side. To get this up and rolling, I just cannot do that myself. It's not physically possible. There's just not enough hours in the day. I get. Yeah.
And I think that when you have to do this stuff for yourself as well, it kind of it detracts from your main talent, like the performing. I mean, I think as performers, we actually need an enormous support network to be able to do all those kinds of things, because obviously I want to spend my time writing and performing, et cetera, but it's hard to do all of that and do all that very well when you've got all the background stuff to be doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the level of respect that we've had here at XANDERMONIUM about Farewell to Alchemy has been amazing. Every show that you've been on, we've had comments on the YouTube page, people asking about the songs, where they can find you, and that kind of thing, which is all very promising. It's when they don't ask and they don't want to know that I tend to worry. But the level of response that we've had at XANDERMONIUM has been very promising. So what's
fantastic.
What's next for Ty and Farewell to Alchemy? Where do you go from here? I heard a little rumor that you're going to be coming stateside to do some stuff. Any truth in that?
Yeah. Well, that's my next. That's my next project. Is getting over to you guys, because I'd like to launch the album there as well. Rather than just say rather than just say the album's out, please buy it. It would be nice to do some live shows there.
Absolutely.
Promote it, and just say thank you for supporting us. So that's a goal. And also, we're going to, in the next month or so, we're starting to write the second album, because we can't seem to stop ourselves. And also, so we need to get out there, because I want you on the second album. And I want...
Fabulous. Thank you. Look forward to that.
It has to be done. And I've already got a song in mind. But, I'll tell you the concept, and you can co-write the lyrics with me, because I want you to collaborate with me.
Brilliant.
But I have, as you know, I like to build my little stories with my lyrics. So
you and I are very similar with our songwriting. We like real stories. We like a beginning, a middle, and an end, not just shooby-doo, la-di-da kind of stuff. We like real songs.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't do shooby-doo. No, that bores me stupid. And I like subtext. I like to write things with subtext, because I like people kind of exploring songs and music, because that's what I like to do. The influences that I have certainly do that. And, you listen to their songs at first, and then as you listen to them again, you realise there's much more going on than what you can hear on the surface. So I like to try and do that for people as well. So if they listen to our songs, there's a little bit more for them each time. And it doesn't, it's not just the same thing going round and round. So I always try and keep the subtext there, and a little bit more interesting for people.
Because I think that the imagery you get with any song is kind of different for everybody, and I think that that's kind of part of the enamel of any song, that what that brings about for you, what the picture that creates in your head for you contributes to how much you kind of like the song, as it were.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it was great fun describing, as I've said to you before, that the track Fire it was great from telling the audience what it was about, which is basically about two serial killers splitting up, having been childhood sweethearts. You know, their common ground was serial murder, and that was fun explaining to an audience what that was about, and then singing the lyric. So things like that are good fun, because I don't always explain my lyric. I'll just kind of say, well, this song's called, you know, blah, and then sing it. But I just felt the need. I thought, no, I'm going to explain this. I want to share it with you. And it is, although it's a dance track, it's still good fun. And I like that kind of thing I like to do, is, you know, is just take things outside the box, you know, just for fun, really.
And I think that when that does take you, it's good. It is actually good to share that, because I often find in interviews that with especially with musicians, I kind of want to know where they're coming from, because that that kind of makes a difference to me. I recently watched a very early Depeche Mode interview. I watched some clips from an early interview, and they're very pictorial with their songs, because like us, they write real songs too, and they always seem like very happy to kind of fill in the gaps for you to kind of give you the back history of why they wrote a song and what it was actually about, which I think is an imperative with a good songwriter, to be able to do that. Because if we're writing about real stuff, about real life and things like that, it all kind of brings it together, as it were.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not, and it shouldn't be. I think the danger is, you know, when people get into, you know, I don't want to discuss it. You know, it's very personal, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just pretentious, you know. It's like, well, why are you writing this?
Why should I buy your fucking record then? You know, if
absolutely.
it's that personal, don't put it out there. You know.
Exactly, you've hit the nail on the head. You know, why are you performing this then? Keep your fucking mouth shut. And you know, I've never understood that, and I don't like that as well. I mean, musicians like that, you know, we've both met them, we've both worked next, you know, side by side with them, and they're the kind of people I just like, no, please go away from me. I don't want to know you. I don't want to work with you. I don't want to get to know you. You're an idiot, you know.
Let's face it, we've all, you know, well, especially you and I, you know, coming up through the ranks and stuff, we've worked with these pretentious fuckers who, you know, have got their head up their ass, and where are they now? They're waiting tables and working in McDonald's, literally. So, you know, and I don't mean that to sound queenie and bitchy. No, actually I do, because do you remember we said we took from Paul O'Grady when Paul said you have to look after people on the way up because you'll need them on the way down, and we really took that to heart. You know, we do. Yeah. We try and be as nice as possible. But some of these people who are just, where are they now? You know, where are these people now? That's my question. So we're coming to the end of the show, Ty. Tell people where they can find Farewell to Alchemy, and tell them about the name of the album and where they can find you on iTunes, etc.
We have the Facebook page is just simply called Farewell to Alchemy. So if you go to that page and like it, I'm the main administrator, so I'm constantly updating that. And if you like the page, you know, I do my best to keep it personal and keep people informed. So obviously you'll know all about that from there. Or you can follow me on Twitter. It's Ty Paul Egar, and obviously you can get the spelling from you because my name's not easy. And the album's out there. The album's called The 92 Code, and that's available on iTunes and Amazon. But in the next few weeks, Neil, my writing partner, Neil Warner, could put it up on Amazon as well. In the next few weeks, you can buy it as a physical CD. So if anybody wants it as a physical CD, then leave it a few weeks, and you can get that. Otherwise, you know, it's downloadable from iTunes and Amazon. But Farewell to Alchemy, the Facebook page is the most popular at the minute.
Absolutely. I think it's funny how so much of music has become electronic downloads rather than physical CDs. But I think you still have to have those for, you know, anywhere I go to do a gig, even if it's a DJ gig, I always have, like, you know, 10 CDs on me that I can, you know, give out or sell or share, because there are still people that, you know, that want it in that format. So listen, Ty, thanks for coming on and giving us an update on what's going on with Farewell to Alchemy. I'm sure you will be back with us very soon to talk about other than music, which is great. It's always great to have you on. So thank you so much for joining us again today.
Well, thank you, Xander, as usual. Thank you very much. Speak to you soon.
Thanks a lot, Ty.
Bye.
Bye. That was Ty Polligar, the lead singer of Farewell to Alchemy. Check out their album on iTunes, the 92 code. Download it, comment, let them know what you think of their music. Thank you so much to my other guests today from Part 1, the Luckless co-creators George Cowin and Steve Haltrecht, and the fabulous actress Gracie Tyrrell. I, for one, can't wait to see the series become the big hit that I predict it to be. And no, not just because Sam Ewan is so hot, but, of course, it really does help. Thank you for my guests in Part 2. Thank you to the fabulous Roy Handler, a.k.a. Chef Handler, from Hot Mess Catering and the Chelsea Lately Show. Don't forget to follow them all on Twitter and Facebook. And as I said, you can follow Ty on Facebook too. I will send out links tonight so you can all see where they're at. For those of you who've been asking now, they're finally here. Yes, you can get T-shirts for XANDERMONIUM T-shirts and other forms of merchandise for the show at www.xandergibb.biz. Show your love and support for our show by buying a T-shirt or a tote bag or something. Thank you for everyone that was in the chat today. Thanks to Steve. Thanks to George. Thanks to Gracie. Thanks to all the guests. Thanks to Joe. Thanks to Kathy. Sorry you had problems with Blog Talk. Fucking Blog Talk. Thanks to Joe. Thanks to Martin. Thanks to Ty. Thanks to everyone for joining us. We will be back with you the same time next week. Apologies for my vagueness. You see how tired I am. I'm apologizing for being gay. We will be back with you the same time next week. We will see you then, and I really do love you all. Bye-bye.
Change when it was